Good evening, class. Hope all of you are doing well. Happy Friday. Those of you who are working the whole week, and your Friday is the time to just chill and relax a little bit. Here I just hope this is a little relaxing for you. The video, and I'll try to make it as relaxing as possible. I'm just going to give you the quick pointers because I know that's what you're looking for right now. Just what are the things we need to do for the class, and what's the homework and all of that. This is what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to quickly take you to class actually and show you again, reiterate a few things that we talked about in my first video, which was a video of introduction. And what I'm going to do today is basically I will just talk to you about your readings this week. By this time, you may have read of the chapters that were assigned to you, and basically talk a little bit about public speaking and what you're going to be expecting in this class. Quickly, without wasting any more time, I am going to go to your to your class. Here we go. 1 second. Here actually. COD Blackboard. Yep, it's coming. Just kicked me out again. Plus, I'm not going to have a very lengthy video because I think that kind of puts off a lot of people. I will quickly jump to the most important parts of your class. Okay, so here we go. This is your class. Here is your class. So your class is all up and running. Let's see. This was my announcement the first time. And what is coming up is, let's look at the schedule of the class, okay? Here we are, quickly, syllabus, and so here we are, class. The syllabus is here, and I'm looking at your schedule. So we started the course on October 19th. I kind of gave you an overview of what the course is going to be about. Kind of also showed you where things are in the course, where I've kept your assignments, where's your book, what is rhetoric, what are some of the speeches that you're going to have in this class. So I kind of gave you a lay of the land. That was my intent in the first video. So now we are moving on to week 2. So this is going to be our week 2 starting Monday. We are going to move into week 2, and the assignments that are due tomorrow is your student introduction video recording. Okay, so I did see on Go React, I did see a few few of you who've set your accounts, which is wonderful. I have shown you how to get into Go React. And again, my first video will have all the details. It's how to go into Go React, how to search for your class and record your speech. All right, so that's the assignment that's due tomorrow. And the next assignment that is due again, so your student introduction, your student introduction speech video is due tomorrow by 5 p.m. And then your week 1 assignment is also due tomorrow by 5 p.m. What is the week 1 assignment? I've mentioned it to you. There are a few questions that you need to respond to. Please go to your Blackboard site. Here we go again. I'm doing stop share here. Again, going to share this with you. Blackboard site, where is, 1 second here, sorry. Yeah, that's right here. Okay, So your weekly assignment is going to be here, okay? So here we go, ask, okay. So the discussion forum is right here, and week one discussion, which is the assignment, is going to be here. Week one, you click this, and this is what you get. I just got, so far that's fine because you were not supposed to respond, I mean, if you responded, fine, wonderful. I can already see Sebastian has already responded, which is wonderful. And you just have to go through this and respond. So question 4, all right, here we go. Yeah, so wonderful. So this is where your weekly, again, your week one assignment is posted here. And so there are two things, don't forget, there are two things. One is a speech introduction, which you have to go React and record your speech. Let's see whether anybody has recorded their speech or not. Let me see, let me go React here. Let's see, 1 second, let me just do it this way. Okay. Go React. Okay. Login. I am already logged in, so it won't ask me for a password or anything. And, oh, it does. Okay. I do think it kicked me out. Yeah. So I'm here, class. So I can very well done. So I already see Abdul Razak has introduced himself, and I don't see this, I don't see the name here, but let me see who else.
Yeah, okay, great.
Oh,
So I hit record.
all right. So that's just me. I couldn't recognize myself. So this is just I kind of gave you an example of what you need to do, and I think Abdul has started the student introduction. He started the video and he's posted it. So I can already see that you are following instructions. You have done, assuming you have done your readings. What reading you have to do? Again, some of it will be repetitive right now because this is just a few things, and once we have to do it in the beginning of the semester, and then once we get into the groove of things, it'll just be easier. Okay, so here again I am showing this to you. This is your syllabus, and your schedule is right here. October 19th is when our course started, and I posted a speech introduction to the class video. These are the chapters that you need to read: chapter 1, 12, and 14, 15, and 16. And your online book is right here. Okay, I got an email regarding where's the book. We have discussed this in my speech video. I have in my introduction video, I have mentioned to you that this is a free online book that we have, and you just need to copy, paste it, and you get access to this book. Okay. So again, repeating this is where the topic is, these are where the readings is, and this is the work that needs to be submitted by tomorrow. Okay. So, all right. So now what I'm going to do is just going to talk to you about chapters 1, 12, 14, 15, and 16 in my own way, just to, I'm just going to quickly show you, let's kind of my thoughts on the chapters. Where is the chapter? Okay, well, let me just quickly. Yeah, is it not? No, not this one, not this one. 1 second here. I'm just going to look for the. Okay, so here I am. I am doing a screenshot of the book and I'm going through the chapters here. You have, which are the chapters that you were supposed to do is you were supposed to do chapters 1, uh, 1, 12, 14, 15, and 16. So 1, 12, 14, 15, and 16. I write it down so that I don't forget when I'm referring to it. So 1, 12, 14, 15, and 16. Here we go. Stop share, share the book. Yeah. So now getting into the content is the first chapter. Well, in the first chapter, you have read about it's basically introduces communication studies to you, and it kind of discusses the history and forms. Again, communication doesn't have a if you look at the history of communication, it doesn't have a huge long history of it being recognized as a separate discipline. It emerged pretty late, and though we know that when we talk about rhetoric and when we talk about communication and public speaking, especially the public speaking part of it, that developed a long back in Aristotle's era. So as I mentioned to you, this that Aristotle talked about rhetoric in his book, and that's like the main book for all public speaking. And this class is focused on the fundamentals of speech communication. So it covers a lot of communication that we will be discussing, but primarily we will be looking at public speaking. So I did talk to you about the different the 5 different components of rhetoric, which is ethos, logos, pathos, kairos, and telos. Okay, so we talked about that in our last video, but I'm going to expand on that a little bit more. That's the first chapter. The first chapter also talks to you about this, shows you this model of communication where you have a receiver, you have a sender, and there is thoughts and there is messages that are exchanged between the receiver and the messenger, and how the messages sometimes get misinterpreted. So we will talk a lot about all of this in our speeches when we want to say something and sometimes we get misunderstood. Why does that happen? And it's so intriguing when you really think about, this could actually go wrong when I said something because I meant this, but the person completely misunderstood me, and happens to us, right, all the time. But how do we how are we able to reflect on that, and how are we able to be better communicators? And I think in the introduction to communication studies, communicative competence is when you become when you master the role of being a good communicator. And to be a good communicator, you got to be a great listener, right? So when you're listening, what kind of listening skills are you using? Are you listening with a lot of bias in your mind? Are you more open-minded? Are you opinionated, which is fine. When you have a lot of perspectives, is when you have an opinion. But if your opinion kind of makes one person feel, or makes it kind or shucks another person, or you stop the conversation and you say that I don't want to hear you because I don't agree with you, that is a communication or a conversation stopper, and it is not it's not going to be it will go against communicative competence if you are doing this. I think so that's introduction to communication studies. The chapter 12 talks a lot about here we are. How do you develop topics for your speech? I'm sorry, my daughter just rushed in. I here talks about how do you develop topics for your speech. How do you come up with a purpose for your speech? How do you come up with a thesis statement for your speech, and how do you support that? So that's again, we're going to talk a lot about this when we write speeches, okay? And then that's chapter 12. Chapter 14 talks about organization. We again, how do we organize speeches? What are the patterns of organization? Sometimes you'll see that just like you may have a closet and you may have lots of clothes, but you don't know, and sometimes it's confusing to when you're in a rush, that your black pants are here, or you got to shuffle through your clothes to see where what is. Similarly, in a speech, if you're not organized in your speech, if you don't organize it according to a certain pattern, then you will not remember what to say. Okay, so it talks about different kinds of organizational pattern. There is organizational pattern through storytelling method, narrative. When you talk about different stories, and you remember that I'm going to, in this speech I'm going to talk about 3 different stories, or you talk about uh, 3 different time periods that you're going to talk about in somebody's life: the early period, the middle years, or the current years. Okay, or it could be chronological, it could be narrative, it could be logical, where you are organizing the speech according to problem solution or a cause effect pattern. Uh, it could be topical, especially if you're doing an informative speech. You could be talking about a topic like globalization and then breaking down globalization into subtopics, okay? And then you could arrange your speech topically. Uh, Overall, when you think about the general purpose of the speech, you probably have 2 different purposes. It could be informative and it could be persuasive, okay? Uh, uh, and these are the 2 broad categories of speech. Okay, and sometimes it could be informative and persuasive. You'll see most of the times, you'll see that it's a combination. All right, but these are the two main purposes. And then out of that, a lot of people say, well, the purpose of the speech is entertaining. Well, if it is completely entertaining, there must be, the person was giving us some information about something. So overall, it's categorized as informative and persuasive. Okay, so those are the 2 speech purposes that we will probably be talking about in this class. Okay, so that's organization for you. That was chapter 14. 15 talks about how do you support your speech ideas. Let's say you are doing a persuasive speech on uh, having a completely no smoking zone, or let's say you want to make COD a completely no smoking campus. That's your persuasive speech. So in order to make your stand, what kind of supporting material will you provide to make that stand? So you can have testimonies from people, expert testimonies, when people say that smoking around campus is just unhealthy. It also kind of gives a wrong message that you encourage people to smoke. It could be you could have people who are experts on this topic saying that how if we completely take away, make this campus a non-smoking campus, then the amount of people who are smoking will reduce. Okay, research has proved that. So you have to do your research. You have primary sources, you have secondary sources, you have testimonies from experts. You can have lay testimonies from general people who are part of the campus and who have an opinion on this issue. So you organize your research and you present it in your speech. So that's your supporting your speech idea, the kind of supporting materials that you need. So that talks about that. That's chapter 15 for you. And chapter 16 is coming up with a good introduction and a conclusion. And then we talk about more of this in later when we look at speeches. So when especially let's say the first speech that you watched, right? George Bush's the 5-minute address that you watched, the link. In that speech, he just had about 5 minutes, right? So, but he had an introduction, he had a body, and he had a conclusion. So, in a speech like that, what does one do in the introduction? well, you there has to be an attention getter. You have to get the attention of the audience. I Perhaps, George Bush's speech is not the best example to talk about, because that happened in such a difficult situation that he quickly had to talk about what was going on. So there wasn't enough time for him to develop an introduction or kind of invite the audience into the discussion. The whole nation was looking forward to, or was waiting to hear him speak. In a speech like, let's say, if you watched another landmark, really good speech from contemporary times is Steve Jobs' commencement address. If you watch that speech, you will see that it's a very short introduction. He says that I'm going to talk about 3 stories in my life. No big deal, just 3 stories. Okay, that kind of an introduction like that. When you say that I'm going to tell you about 3 stories in my life, and I'm here to present a commencement speech at Stanford University, and I'm not a college graduate myself. That is an interesting thing, because you would expect a commencement speaker to at least have a college degree, but he kind of reverses the expectation of the audience and says that I didn't go to Stanford. I don't have a college degree. Um, uh, you know, Forget about a degree from Stanford. Don't even have a college degree. And he says that, and he says, I'm going to tell you 3 stories of my life. So a person as big as Steve Jobs, when you think about the ethos, the credibility of the person is huge, right? He's created Apple, and here he is on our campus, and he talks about uh, not having a college degree in his introduction. That kind of is interesting. It could put off of some people. It could be very interesting for some people, saying that, wow, what has he done to get there where he is? And then he says that I am going to tell you 3 stories of my life, right at the beginning of his speech, and that kind of quells the interest of the audience. You have to remember this, as Aristotle also mentioned, is that human beings are storytellers. We love to tell stories, and we love to listen to stories as well. So that itself, in the introduction, he does that. In a conclusion, and you just don't summarize what typically, people will say that in a conclusion you just summarize your speech. You I don't think just a summary of your speech would be good in a conclusion. You have to go beyond that, and kind of think about it as a takeaway for the audience. What does the audience take away? Almost like something, goodie bag. Does the audience, what goodie bag do you have do you have for the audience? So it's like some perspective that emerged out of your speech. What does the audience have to take away from your speech? So that's a conclusion. Okay. Uh, so uh, uh, so that pretty much discusses what these chapters will discuss. I kind of gave you a little summary, and yeah. So I actually, what I will do is I'm going to post this video, and I hope it will help all of you. And if you have any questions, please call me, text me, uh, and I look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you.